Hey, what's up everybody, this is FL4K and today I want to show you guys the current flak build I am using. Now this is the first endgame flak build I've actually made, and it is focused on being able to kill bosses super quickly, even though there is some stuff in here that makes it pretty decent at killing, just groups of enemies as well. So before we get into the build, I want to clarify some stuff. I'm going to have multiple boss kills using multiple different weapons. I do show they may have modifications in those. Those were all random modifications. I just got into the game and tried killing the boss. At the end of the video, I will have me doing the Circle of Slaughter. Now, the Circle of Slaughter, I rolled the modifications to get the best ones. And the reason I do that is because the Circles of Slaughter, you can roll the modifications pretty quickly in like maximum 5-10 minutes and get perfect modifications. Then you can farm Circle of Slaughter for an unlimited amount of time without having to log off and back in. Like if you're farming a boss, you have to go to the main menu and back every time, so you're resetting the modifications. Circle of Slaughter doesn't have the issue. You could get the best modifications in 5 minutes, then farm the thing for 10 hours, and you're gonna overall get just ridiculous amounts of more loot because you're so much stronger. Now this build isn't focused on killing big groups of enemies, but it does still do decent in the Circle of Slaughter. And also this is the offline Circle of Slaughter, and if you don't know, if you do the offline glitch for it, that's why it spawns just ridiculous amounts of anointed, making this Circle of Slaughter incredibly difficult compared to the normal one. So let's just get right into the build. So with these flak boss killing builds, there's a lot of variation you can possibly do, and it kind of starts with what trees you decide to go in first. So I decided to go into the Stalker build first, and the first talent is Furious Attack. Basically, after shooting enemies, you get stacks of damage increase and handling increase, and the stacks up 10 times, it's just shooting enemies, so you'll have this up a lot of the time. Next, we have Overclock, which you gain fire rate increase, and then it doubles after you reload for 4 seconds basically. So just a big fire rate increase. Next we have a Kill Skill. A lot of these Kill Skill stuff are mainly to get lower in the tree, but they do help on some bosses because there's ads in the fights. You can get these active off of that sometimes. And also, you don't want it to be only specifically boss killing. You still want to be able to kill groups of enemies and stuff like that, so you don't have to switch your talent build anytime you want to go kill any other enemies. Next, we have Turn Tail and Run. So basically what this does, when you're moving, you gain health over time and you gain damage reduction. And when you're standing still, you gain gun damage and fire rate. So this is a really cool talent because if you're standing still, you get a really big increase to damage. And then if you're moving, you gain a really big increase to survivability. Really cool talent. Next, we have the Fast and the Furious, which when you're above half HP, you gain gun damage, I can't speak today, and movement speed. 25% gun damage, really good. You're above half HP a majority of the time. Then we have Hidden Machine. When an enemy has no target or is attacking a different target, flak deals increased damage against them 30%. And a lot of bosses have stuff that they're not attacking you. I'm not exactly certain how that exactly works with this, but Fade Away, which is the ability we're using, you go stealth, so it should activate off that. Then we have the Power Inside. You and your pet gain increased damage after you activate an action skill. And if you're full HP, you gain double that. So 50% if you're full HP, 25% if you're not. But if you do this at the start of a boss fight, you get 50% damage increase. Really good. So the ability we're actually using is Fade Away, which is basically you cloak, and normally you can only shoot 3 shots and then you're uncloaked, and they're all critical hits. And you also get critical hit damage increase, you get cloaked movement speed, you get health per second with this normally. But with this skill we're using, it no longer breaks for shooting a certain amount of times, so you can just shoot unlimited amount of times and crit unlimited amount of times in the duration of the ability. Except you do, your critical hit damage is basically reduced, and you do 50% critical hit damage now. baseline basically. And the other modification we're actually using is Unblinking Eye. Successful hits on the same target increase Flak's critical damage per hit. Unblinking Eye resets after 3 hits, so 75% per hit. Critical damage is really big critical damage increase. And then the pet we're using is actually going to be the Gunslinger Jabber, and that's because it gives critical damage. Mainly, that's the main thing. It gives move speed too, but mainly it's just a critical hit damage. So that's it for the first tree. Now the second tree is the Hunter tree. So first we have Interplanetary Stalker, which is mainly one of those skills to get lower in the tree, but it does help when killing stuff besides bosses. Hunter Kill Skill, whenever Flak kills an enemy, they gain a stack of Interplanetary Stalker. When they gain a stack, they gain a bonus to all damage dealt. Additionally, they gain a unique stacking bonus depending on the type of enemy killed. Each unique bonus can stack up 3 times. So basically this has 2 stacking mechanisms. How do you actually scroll down on this with that? Okay, there we go. So basically you have 2 stacking. You gain 10% damage per stack of the normal thing, and then whichever other thing you're killing, you gain the stacking bonuses of that. This is mainly to get down lower in the tree against bosses, but it's really good against normal groups of enemies. Then we have Leave No Trace. When you score a critical hit, there's a chance for 1 ammo to be added to your magazine, 36% chance. On that, you're shooting super fast, so there's a good chance on that. Then we have Head Count. When you score a critical hit, there's a chance for your action skill to be reduced, a 30% chance, and then it reduces it by 2 seconds. So that's really good, especially you know, in between your fades, you can get it up much, much quicker. Then we have Two Fang. This is like one of the most ridiculous talents of the game, to be honest. You have a chance of firing an extra projectile per shot, 25% chance. That's a massive damage increase. That's pretty ridiculous. And we have Big Game. Flak's Hunter skills become much more effective and have a longer duration. So plus 100% duration, and effects increased by 30%. So it's anything that I'm pretty sure says Hunter skill. So this is a Hunter Kill Skill. What else am I looking at? I know there was one I was looking at just a second ago. I know there's a Hunter skill. So Hunter skill right here, Furious Attack, any stuff like that. I thought it was a Hunter tree, but I'm pretty sure it's anything that actually says it. We have one into the most dangerous game. Hunter Kill Skill, whenever Flak kills a badass or stronger enemy, they gain increased critical hit damage, gun damage, and handling. Additionally, you get a cash reward. And it lasts for 120 seconds, which is a long time. I put one in this basically just to get down to Galactic Shadow, but it does give good damage increases when you're killing enemies. Circle Slaughter, this is up 100% of the time, so that's decent, I guess. As I said, this is mainly focused on boss killing. I will be making a build pretty soon after this that's based on like farming the Circle Slaughter and stuff like that. Then we have Galactic Shadow. Flak deals increased critical hit damage, and enemies are less likely to attack them. So critical damage plus 15%, and you're less likely to get attacked by enemies. And that is all of the talent trees. So now we can go into our actual gear. Now our actual gear, I don't really have that good of gear for this guy. My weapons are good, but none of my other stuff is that great. Especially since I don't have a legendary. I have a level 20 class mod just because of the basically talent increase I get. But a legendary one, I know there's some pretty good legendary ones. So my power of this build still isn't, like I can still go much, much higher, even just specifically with this build. So we have that. I have the damage boost off of getting an elemental effect on yourself, and it gets used sometimes before a boss. You can definitely use this if you're using an elemental weapon against bosses. As you see in one of the clips, I catch myself on fire and I'm using a fire weapon, so I get a massive damage increase. It's really cool to be able to do that, especially if the boss doesn't have an immunity phase, so you can just kill them outright like Grave Ward. It's just a massive damage increase off that. The grenade I'm using is Surge. I don't think I use the grenade basically at any point. I wanted to use grenades a little bit less, even though you should be using the strongest grenade you can get as much as possible when killing stuff, especially when killing enemies, but I just didn't want to use it as much, you know, just so we could focus a little bit more on the build. The shield I'm using, I just wanted to have a tanky shield. Generator Stopgap has a really good capacity, and also with the shield, on shield break, become immune to any damage taken for 5 seconds. So that's a really insane legendary effect on that one. So for weapons, I think the best weapon is probably going to be Rowan's Call. You'll see me using this a lot in the video. This thing is so insane. It's basically a really fast shooting assault rifle that is a Jacob. So when you crit, you get 2 ammo back and it ricochets 2 bullets to nearby targets. Mine's fire, so it also does, you know, the extra fire. It shoots really fast, or decently fast, I guess. Has good damage, ricochets multiple bullets, gives you magazines back. When you're critting, you're never running out of ammo. So really good weapon. Any queens or king's calls are super good as well. You restore 3 back to the magazine and ricochet 3 to the closest target. This is really good for boss killing. Not as good for enemy killing because the ricochet bullets always try to go to the target you hit with the crit first. But this is super good for boss kills. I have an Arctic Nighthawk in this. This is just a really good weapon. I haven't really used it a ton. I don't think I used it at all in the video, but this is a really good weapon. Crossroads are really good weapons. You can get any element on those. So those are really good weapons. You also have Lucian's Calls that are really good weapons. Lyudas are really good for boss kills. Even Shredifiers can be pretty decent. So you have a bunch of different options. Pretty much anything you can constantly keep ammo with when you're critting that does really good damage, that spews out lots of bullets. You're going to be pretty much set with any of those. So that's pretty much the entire build. If you guys have any questions about anything, leave them in the comments. I try to reply to any comments. I've been getting a lot of views, which thank you guys for all the views, all the comments, all the likes, all that stuff. I've been getting, you know, a lot of comments, so it's hard to reply to all of them, but I've been trying to keep replies to all of them if you guys have any questions or anything like that. And that's the entire build. So subscribe if you want to see more Borderlands 3 content. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below, as I said before. Also, let me know if there's any other flak builds, any other Amara builds you guys want me to be making. Those are the 250s I have right now. I'll be getting the other ones to 50 so I can do builds on those as well. And thanks for watching.
Death smiled.